Are you tired and fatigued? You know, many of my patients come in and this is one of their top 3 concerns is that they have no energy. So why don't you have energy? I want to share 3 tips today when it comes to energy. Now, of course, we know that nutrition, our lifestyle, our sleep, that's going to play a big role. But I want to tell you about 3 things that you might not have considered. The first thing we have to consider about our energy that, we are like a battery. So we have a body battery, our energy signal can be measured. We can measure it in our heart. It's called an ECG. We can measure it in the brain. It's called an EEG. We can also measure heart rate variability. And this tells us how much restorative care that we get in our heart. And when we have high levels of HRV, our heart is very variable. We know that this gives us good emotions in our body. It makes us feel good. But even more than that, when we have high HRV, it affects the biochemicals in our body. So it can affect our cortisol, which can drain us, or it can affect our other hormones, which can actually cause our mitochondria to work better, to give us more energy in our body battery. It can actually help to improve our immune system. So what are those things that can drain our emotional battery? 3 things. So number 1, and time again, if you're wondering why you're tired, it may be because you're thinking and worrying too much about others. We wake up in the morning, say our body battery is at 100%. If you give 25 of your body battery points away because you're worrying about what's happening in America, then you've drained your energy. If you give those points away because you're worried about your adult child and what they're doing with their life, you gave away your energy. Our brain requires a high amount of energy. And as you worry about things that are not within your control, this is going to drain your body battery. So there you go. 50 points may be just gone because you're worrying about things, about others, things in the world that you have no control over. The other thing I want you to consider is multitasking. Now, many of us, we do this and we think, oh, isn't it wonderful? I'm able to get something on the stove, get the kids doing this, be writing something else. But multitasking is very draining for our energy, our body battery. Why is this so? Well, when you begin to focus on a task, your neural network is going down a specific pathway. When you get distracted to something else, it takes you a few milliseconds to switch into that other activity, but that actually has a much greater impact on your brain in terms of draining your energy. And it feels like, yes, I'll get right back into the other task that I wanted to do. But in doing so, you've actually drained your energy in that process. This is why it's so important as we begin thinking about what we're doing in the day, is having dedicated time to focus on our most important task. And when we do that, we have to remove distractions. So one of the things that I do when I'm getting really focused, or even just when I'm getting charts done, is I turn off my phone so I can't receive any messages. I set myself a timer and I get dedicated that that's what I'm going to do during that set time period. So I'm much more effective. I feel like I've accomplished more, and I know that I have turned off the distractions that would have been draining my body battery. And we call this principle is called cognitive dissonance. No, it's not. It's called cognitive drain, because each of those moments is actually draining our body battery. And the third thing that I want to talk about, and so many people, it doesn't matter. I've had programs, I've had groups, and everybody seems to be wasting a lot of energy in terms of social media and doom scrolling. So just getting on there, whether it's Instagram like this, whether it might be Facebook, and just going through the chats and kind of going again and again and again, comparing ourselves to others, thinking about, oh, what's someone else doing? Thinking that, oh, I need to do a little bit more. But again, our brain is shifting time and time. It truly is depleting our energy. So what can you do about this if you get caught up in doom scrolling? Well, number 1 is just to set points during your day. Say that this is going to be the time that I'm going to check Facebook, or I'm going to allow myself to have 10 or 15 minutes just to scroll my feed, maybe to see what my family are doing. And you can even put little things on your phone. You can actually set, if you have an iPhone, you can set it so it allows you just a maximum amount of time that you can get on social media scrolling. because a number of hours and time that people lose a day because they're really doing something that's quite insignificant is amazing. And also we know that it's draining their energy as they shift through the screens, but also as they're exposed to the blue light. And many times I see people doing this just before they're going to bed. And what worst thing that you could do, you're trying to get your sleep because oh, it's so important. I want to get my 8 hours. But if you go and scroll on your phone before bed and get exposed to blue light, then you may not be getting the quality of sleep, which is what you really need to recharge your energy batteries so that when you wake up the next day, that you wake with a full body battery. So hopefully this has been helpful, that you'll think about the things that might be draining your battery and your energy. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, then I'm going to share a little sheet with you that I did. It's a little PDF download. You'll be able to click on the link and be able to download that. And I would challenge you to go through, think of what's building up your battery, because that's always the good side of the equation, right? But then I want you to think of what's draining your battery. And is there one thing that you can do this week to either build up your energy, or one thing that you can remove that might be draining your body battery? We all want to have energy, right? We all have 24 hours in the day, so we want to maximize it and make the most of it every single day. Take care. Bye for now.